Adam fucking Smasher. The guy looks like he got squeezed so hard his eyes popped out. He's the dog of Arasaka, the asshole that scares the crap out of Evelyn Parker. And honestly, who the hell says this to a woman?
Like a cut of fuckable meat, are you?
Buckle up, boys and girls. Today we talk more Cyberpunk lore and discuss Adam Smasher. Look, as much as I want to say Smasher had a bad childhood and this is why he became so mean and scary, the truth is he was a complete ass when he was born. Okay, well, we don't get much about his early childhood, but one of the earliest pieces of info we do get is that he joined the army after the military completely wiped out his gang in New York City. Now, he didn't join to fight for a cause, but rather he joined because he figured the army has better weapons. This fool is so power hungry, and that is all there is to it. The epitome of all brawn, no brain. He spent 6 years in the army and was kicked out for bad behavior. Listen, to us that may just sound like he's a troubled kid, but remember, we are talking about the Cyberpunk universe. The world is already on another level of messed up. Everything is cranked up to 11. The purge, to them, that's a daily activity. So for the army to kick out a person just highlights how mentally unstable this young fellow is. When he returns to the rotten apple, as he calls it, he takes up the life of a street samurai. Think like modern day Samurai Champloo, which honestly sounds kind of cool. Anyways, he begins making a good amount of eddies while completing extractions, assassinations, harassment, and demolition jobs. But Adam bit more than he could chew on one occasion. For this op, he was hired by a corporation to nab a competitor's new prototype. You know, the basic modern day Cyberpunk corporation feud. Unfortunately for Adam, he got turned into a pile of human stew when a bunch of RPGs was sent flying his way. Sucker. Now, honestly, he is supposed to die here, but he is ultimately saved by none other than Arasaka. They offered him a 15-year contract of employment, and in exchange, he becomes a full-time Borg working for Arasaka. Unfortunately, in the reference books and source books, I have not found any pictures of him before this event, so I can't do a before and after pic. Now, that process of Adam actually being hired by Arasaka is important, so keep that in the back of your mind, and we'll bring it up in a second. Before we continue, we have to talk about his actual role in the board game. He, just like Morgan Blackhand, is a solo. Now, before the full Borg transformation, he seemed a little bit of a mix of a rocker boy / solo because of his rebellious attitude. But once he got hired by Arasaka, he becomes a full solo. We also have to consider that Adam Smasher technically sold out to a corporation. Now, let me explain. In the world of Cyberpunk, even though cyberwares is used by everybody, being fully converted into a Borg is a rare thing. Most, and I mean like 99.9999% of the time, Borgs are corporate made. Either they are sponsored, or in the case of Adam Smasher, he's kind of given like an ultimatum. Either you die or you become a corporate dog, and they give you a full Borg body. So this is what I mean. This is what I mean by selling out. Because in the board game, this is a mechanic. You can choose to have your character sell out to a corporation where you have the opportunity to become a cyborg. That being said, you do lose out on certain things. For example, your character loses out on style points and professionalism. Just imagine, you're a massive robot. You don't have finesse. You don't have the ability to go stealth. So when you're completing missions and ops, you're really just a massive tank killing and attacking people. This is very important because unlike in the Cyberpunk 2077 world where they don't talk about style, in the board games and all the reference books, it's actually important for you to have some sort of reputation, and looks and appearances play a big part in that. Unfortunately for Adam Smasher, being a gigantic robotic mess, no one really takes him seriously in that sense. So he's kind of stuck working for Arasaka and Arasaka only. This is why I believe he's not actually ranked as a top 10 solo. The list I'm referring to is the one that can be found in Solo Fortune number 2. In this list, we see characters like Andrew Whalen, Shaitan, Morgan Blackhand, and a few other solos that we have yet to explore. However, it's interesting to note that Adam Smasher is not actually on this list. And at first I just thought that maybe because Borgs aren't counted, and then I realized Shaitan is number 7 and he's a full Borg. So what gives? Overall, it might be the fact that Adam Smasher just has no finesse. Like, he has no class with the way he actually completes his missions. Morgan is touted number 1 because of how well he executes his ops and how professional he is when completing his missions. On the other hand, Adam Smasher really just goes in there and prefers to take missions that have a high risk of human casualties. You know that sickening mission in OG Modern Warfare 2 where you have the options to shoot civilians in the Russian airport? Yeah, Adam would choose to just completely blast everyone even though it was an option not to. And I think this is the big difference and the reason why characters such as Morgan Blackhand and Adam Smasher are created. They are the complete opposite of each other. You have one guy who is a professional, and the way he goes about his missions is as subtle and as quiet as a person can do the mission, whereas Adam Smasher would like to go in there and just shoot up the entire room if he could. And that plays a massive role in terms of reputation and in terms of the jobs you are getting. But Adam Smasher doesn't care about this because at the end of the day, he is hired by Arasaka to do their dirty work. So if we look at the character itself, you already can see that he has no humanity left in him. He doesn't care about people. You'll see in the article we'll talk about a little later, but he just does not care whatsoever about humans, and he actually thinks that cyborgs and Borgs and fully converted people are the future for the human race. When he is first converted into a Borg, based on the images, we can assume that his cyborg body is actually called the Samson. This was created by Novel Tech Limited. It is actually listed on the Wiki Offender page. But like I said, this was based purely off appearances because this full body conversion suit was actually primarily designed for industrial use, such as hazmat jobs, construction, loading and unloading stuff, oil drilling, and toxic waste removal. It is definitely possible for the Arasakas to have modded the body itself, so instead of being Inspector Gadget, he's more like
Hasta la vista, baby.
In his famous Destroy All Flesh article, he talks about the raw power he attains once he is fully converted. And because the Arasakas hired him for their dirty work, I would imagine this is when they included weapons and all that crazy gadgets attached to his body. Like that hidden shotgun, a mini missile shooter thing that Iron Man has. He also has a sledgehammer hidden in that body somewhere called Slam Dance. As for carry weapons, he's got the Tsunami Arms Helix, a massive machine gun, and carries a revolver that a normal person can't handle to shoot, called Hellbringer. The bullets are .666 caliber size, hence the name Hellbringer. But seriously though, imagine a revolver with a .66 caliber round. That is like a Desert Eagle on steroids. In the article, he constantly talks about bigger weapons that a normal person, even with cyberware, cannot handle. He talks about armor plating made specifically for Borgs, rocket launchers, melee weapons, and so on. This is why his rivalry with Morgan Blackhand is so enticing. We got a robot freak with no humanity left in him. He even looks at people as meat and flesh, not actual people. And on the other corner, we got the most renowned and well-respected Solo, who uses his humanity to its fullest. There are quotes about Morgan using non-lethal bullets on his ops, which is crazy. This is why Adam looks at Morgan as his rival. It is not because he is considered to being the best Solo and Adam is jealous of that. No, rather he goes against what Smasher truly stands for. They are kind of the perfect Dark Knight versus Joker metaphor. One will go out of his way to avoid killing while the other kills willingly. That's honestly a pretty cool rivalry.
This is what happens when an unstoppable force meets an immovable object.
It's also perfect that one works for Arasaka and the other for Militech. Hashirama versus Madara up in here. Honestly, you can go on with the comparisons. And that's all I got in terms of backstory for Adam Smasher. It's just so interesting to see how like little humanity he actually has left in him, to believe that people are just meat and flesh. It kind of makes sense, and I kind of understand now when you first see him in the game why he says this to Evelyn Parker. He's looking at everyone as the same thing, like they're ants to him, and everyone needs to become a cyborg or a Borg for them to be someone he actually looks at as an equal. So it's kind of fun that you have Morgan Blackhand again, who is the complete opposite of that. It never says his values or anything like that, but you can just tell that Morgan has more class and more finesse with how he operates, whereas Adam Smasher just comes in here and literally suits his name. He just goes in there smashing and destroying whatever he can because he can do it. But yeah, so let me know what you guys think about this dynamic. We have one guy who will literally avoid any sort of killing, while the other is out here doing everything in his power to make sure he kills innocent civilians as he goes about his missions. The next big event is the Night City Holocaust, the nuking of the Arasaka towers in 2023. Adam Smasher is part of the elite Arasaka squad sent in to stop Johnny Silverhand's group. He kills Johnny and holds Shatan's biopod hostage. At the very end of the assault, he does confront Morgan Blackhand and challenges him to a duel. This time, Morgan accepts after years of eluding Smasher. Their fight is unfortunately cut short due to the detonation of the nuke, like a terrible cliffhanger. Now, we know that Smasher survives because, well, he appears in Cyberpunk 2077. So how did he survive? We can assume because he is a Borg, much like Shatan, he has a biopod. Just imagine like a brain or a heart of a person, all that is needed for a Borg to technically survive. I assume someone found his mashed up Borg body in the pile of wreckage after the building blew up, got his biopod, and stuffed it into another fully converted body. During the 50-year gap, a few things changed in favor of Adam. One is a fact and the other is my own speculation. So let's start with the fact. He becomes the personal bodyguard of Nuking of Arasak around the year 2050. As for my speculation, I think he changed his cyborg body after the attack because, one, appearance-wise, he just looks completely different as he does from 2020 to 2077. So obviously some modifications did change, and now he is guarding the next possible heir to the Arasaka throne. One big factor that a lot of people don't talk about is Arasaka, Yorinobu's older brother, actually dies a few days after the bombing of the towers in 2023. So this just means that technically Yorinobu is next in line to take up the Arasaka throne. So I think it just makes sense that his personal bodyguard gets fitted with the best Arasaka has to offer. Now, we don't actually get a confirmed detail about the armor he is wearing in 2077, but I do think it is a hybrid between two of the older models that we can see in the reference books, and that is between the Dragoon and the Enforcer. I don't think it's too far-fetched for a company known for their technological advancements to create such a Borg body. And as a result, we get this douchebag. Now we are in the current timeline. Once Yorinobu kills Papa Arasaka, he takes the throne effective immediately and makes Smasher head of security, as we find out from Jeremiah Grayson. We are also able to get into his secret stash, although besides the legendary weapon spec we get, there isn't much info to add to the lore. If anything, this extra suit just looks very similar to the Dragoon drawing we get in the books. So there is that, I guess, as a way of confirmation. In almost every ending, you face off with the Borg. Now, you can kill him or not, it's totally up to you, but I think it is likely that even if you technically kill him, he's still going to be around for the DLC or sometime later. Again, my own speculation. I'm just fantasizing about the fight between Morgan Blackhand and Adam Smasher. Until one of these guys dies by the hand of the other dude, I don't think we've seen the last of either of them. But that is it for me in this video, guys. There is a lot of stuff to kind of dig into. I've alluded to it in this video, but a fun theory video I might do is a Morgan Blackhand versus Adam Smasher vid. However, for now, I am going to stick to breaking down other characters, and next up, I'm going to do a Takamura video, and we shall see what happens from there. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Would you be willing to convert into a full Borg if you lived in the Cyberpunk universe? Why or why not? Do you think metal is better than meat, as Adam Smasher and Morgan Blackhand would ask? Let me know all the stuff and let's get talking. Thanks for watching, guys. Leave a thumbs up, and if you are new, consider subscribing. Bye.